Good evening, everyone. Thank you again so much for tuning in to the Realdealfam Network. Again, I'm Andre. This is my beautiful wife, Essie.
How you doing?
And you know she's also known as
The Bone.
Yes, sir. Again, we thank y'all so much for tuning in to the platform. Before we get started, we would like so much if y'all would continue your support by hitting the subscription button as well as the notification bell.
Wait, they didn't hear what you said.
Okay, let me repeat that. If y'all could you please hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you can get the videos fresh as they come in.
Subscribe and thumbs
up. Thumbs up. Thank y'all so much. Okay, tonight we like to get right into it. Tonight this topic is something that me and my wife both experienced when we was younger. We both grew up in, I guess you could say, predominantly African-American neighborhoods. And there's one thing that we would always see during the summertime when school was out, and that was I guess it was called a vocational Bible study bus. Is that
I
it?
remember the mixed area.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think the bus came over there too. Dang.
Well, let me speak for myself. I grew up in the neighborhood, all right?
The bus came to all areas. Equal opportunity.
Okay. Now that is good to know because for me, I was always suspicious. I was like, why is the bus always coming during the summertime? And from my understanding, I guess it's something that the churches perform during the summer. It's like a week-long program when they typically pick up kids from the area and then take them to church and give them a quick little tutorial, I guess, on in terms of their doctrine and their religion.
I mean, they came to all areas, but I only saw black kids on the bus. That's the only people that would let the kids get on that stranger's bus.
Yeah, so that what actually got us curious about the topic because when they would come, I don't recall any parents kind of questioning who's actually running the program, what particular church it is.
Most of the time the parents had no idea where you were going. You just got on a strange bus to take you to Vacation Bible School.
Right, and as you know, there's been a lot of uproar in the Catholic Church about different things, about kids being vulnerable and being, I guess, preyed upon by different people that work at the church. So it was curious to me. I mean, we're adults now, so we see it a little different. But back then, I didn't see much resistance.
Yeah, they didn't really know about all that back then. I mean, you didn't really hear about it as prevalent as it is now. It's all just coming out, within the past 10 years or so, I guess.
Well, I think it's always been prevalent. As long as you got humans.
It was, but nobody knew about it.
That's true. The papers get it more now. It's on the internet more, so it gets put out there quite a bit more. But just thinking back on it, you're just like, man, that was kind of different. Although the intentions were good, you still was susceptible to different things happening to your children.
Well, what happened to you when you got on the bus?
Well, fortunately, I was out the neighborhood, so wasn't too much going to happen to me. But
oh my gosh!
I went there, and I knew they had a nice lunch waiting on me.
Yeah,
so.
they always had something to eat. I don't know if it was nice. It was always like some cucumber sandwiches or something black people didn't really eat.
Well,
And maybe they had some good butter cookies or something, but other than that, and some Kool-Aid.
Well, during the summertime, the refrigerator was always a little slim, so I wasn't that picky. So my experience wasn't bad. You did get to learn a little bit something in terms of what they was trying to teach. Whether it stick with you or not was another thing.
It was just strange white folks you didn't know that was trying to teach you something. It was kind of a little creepy, like, ooh, these crazy weird people. But I mean, they had good intentions. You didn't get any like heebie-jeebie vibes, but you just were like, you don't really know these people,
Right, and I think that goes to show that we are very trusting people. Sometimes a little bit too trusting. You didn't really know what they was gonna do with your children, but the parents still like, man, they out of school. I guess that's some sort of summer camp or something. They ain't really know, and the bus was coming to pick them up. They seen other kids on it. They just let you go.
Yeah, I think half the time I just jumped on. You and your siblings or cousins or whatever. If they don't be like, did you ask your parents? I asked them. No, ain't nobody running way back to the house ask the parents, and then try to run back to the bus. You wouldn't have made it, or they probably would have said no. Depending on their mood.
Yeah, back then, it would be like I said, growing up in the neighborhood. I mean, you'll be all over the place, so your parents didn't really have an idea of where you was at that time.
Yeah, you got to go outside and play free as long as you was within earshot when they called, or you just tell them, hey, I'm going over such house. Then when they come looking for you, they'll come over there. You better be there.
Yeah, so it was a little bit different. I guess during the summertime it did give you something to do, but like I said, it only lasted about a week, and they would come all the time throughout the course of the week and picking people up.
They came different times of the year, depend. Like Easter, sometimes they'll come. Just depends on like the time of the year they had. I remember they would come around and pick up the kids in the community. So just depends on the holiday.
Well, she said she grew up in a more diverse community, so they came to ours during the summertime. Yeah, so I didn't get a chance to experience that throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I wasn't probably feeling that throughout the year. We had other things to do. But yeah, like we say, I guess back then everything was a little bit freer. Parents were a little bit loose with the kids, not in terms of totally being irresponsible, but just
because you didn't hear about things.
Right,
like that.
It wasn't as bad.
And it appeared to be safer. Now everybody is aware of the dangers, so that's why you barely let your kids outside unattended. Even if they're playing in the front yard, somebody's got to watch them. You go out there and watch. Who's watching you? We watching.
Right. But I mean, you got to look at it also. It wasn't just the prospect of possible physical harm, but what were they teaching your children? I mean, did their doctrine, was it consistent with what your beliefs were? So you just can't have anybody talking to your kids and putting different things in them that you may not agree with, may not be consistent with your experiences.
Exactly. I mean, you know that now. What do I remember? I just remember going there and learning about the stories and the normal stories of the Bible. Coloring a lot. Learn how to write your name. They didn't even know your name. So I think I was about 5 or 6. I remember one time I got on there. So what happens if you didn't remember what neighborhood you're supposed to get off of the bus? You could have easily just got lost. They didn't have name tags or that. It was prayer.
No, they didn't. They did. But like I say, when you grow up in the neighborhood, you know exactly where you are. Kids grow up like that. They mentally tough at like 2 or 3 years old.
2 or 3 years old, mentally tough.
Yeah, it's called natural selection. We have to survive.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Nobody should be 2 or 3 years old. You can't get on no bus.
No, I ain't talking about
3.
literally on the bus, but I'm just saying in terms of having being aware of different things.
You remember when you was 2?
Yeah, I do actually. No, let me quit.
Yeah, tell all the stories.
No, I don't remember that far back. I done got up in age now, but yeah, I've seen the kids pretty shrewd at that age out the neighborhood.
Yeah, nowadays, yeah, definitely, I have seen it.
Now, as an adult, I'm not sure, but from what I've seen, it appears to be like a decline in that particular activity.
I haven't seen it at all, unless you sign up your kid for a daycare or something.
Right. I would think, just like we've been speaking about, with so much information being out there now, and you can get it so quickly, I think even if they did come around and be in the neighborhoods and trying to recruit kids or what have you, parents don't have that same trust.
Yeah, somebody call the cops.
Well, they come slow anyway. Unless it's something serious, they ain't coming.
Oh, man. And you barely get the ice cream man coming around. And then if they do, the kids don't run out there like they used to. It used to be like a swarm of kids. Hey, you got this 50 cents.
Right.
Now the ice cream costs $2. Nobody can afford it.
Yeah, so,
and the ice cream man be driving too quick. You can't catch him.
Well, you can't trust him either. Everything now you got to kind of look at with the side eye. You don't know where the ice cream coming from, or what the guy intentions are, or the young lady intentions. So you got to be careful. I think another reason that maybe you hadn't seen the same activity in terms of the buses coming through for the kids is that the church has been in the news a lot for a lot of different things, and so people not trusting the church as much anymore due to a lot of things, like we just talked about with the Catholic Church, with people harming kids and
It's not just in the Catholic Church. I mean, it's all people.
No, I'm not isolating them. I'm just giving an example of what's been in the news a lot.
Definitely, and it's been in the news a lot. The other pastors have been, especially what's that one pastor in Atlanta? Eddie Long.
Yeah.
I mean, he was with the kids. A lot of pastors have gotten in trouble for that. A couple here too. So.
Right, when he was living.
Just have to be aware.
I think just as a community, the concept is definitely a nice concept, and I mean, you would like to see kids go and somebody spend time with them and try to instill good principles and what have you in them.
That's supposed to come from now the parents.
Right.
Gotta be more, take more hands-on time with the children, especially at home, to teach them those things.
Definitely. But with so much information going around today, and it's just, I don't think you can be that open. You just need to be more tight-knit when it comes to your kids and your family. So if somebody coming around, unless you know them personally.
Even if you know them, a lot of them abusers, you know them personally. So it's just a risky thing with your children. They're precious.
It is, but if you're talking about somebody coming from an institution or something like that, you definitely want to be more cautious about that type of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so just something we thought about that we did experience when we was younger. Fortunately, my experience was pretty good.
Yeah, mine too.
Yours was too?
Yeah. Good lunch and Bible stories.
That's what's consistent with us. The lunch was good. So. But like we say, fortunately, everything worked out right. I'm sure there's other people that have different stories, but thank God everything worked out for us. And so just a lesson learned, be careful with your kids, keep an eye on them, love on them, and you instill the values that you know what's right for them and your family.
Exactly.
And is that all, honey?
Yeah, you get a kiss on that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Well, again, we thank y'all so much for tuning in. And like we say, just protect your family, love them, and do all the things you know to do to keep them nice and safe. And again, please hit that subscription button, because we will have more videos coming out. And also, if you have any comments, that you can please share them at the bottom, especially with anything that's consistent with the topic in terms of vocational Bible study buses coming through the neighborhood that you may have had experience with.
Yeah, what's your memories on it?
Right. We'll highly appreciate it, and we thank you again so much. Good night.
Good night.